Greetings, land of YouTube. Welcome to perhaps the most pivotal moment in the history of Bitcoin. That introduction was supposed to be really cool. I stuttered. I didn't realize I stuttered until I listened to my YouTube videos. Good thing for editing. Okay. So, battle of the bulls and the bears. If you watched my recent videos, I was talking about this Wyckoff distribution pattern last 9 months or so. I'm going to show this to you. I've got this lined up pretty good. This is the Bitcoin chart from November 2020 to the present. This might be the most pivotal moment in the history of Bitcoin as far as price. Let's get that straight. As far as the money market price of Bitcoin. Wyckoff distribution. Left is accumulation, redistribution, or reaccumulation. On the top is distribution. This, where we're at now, in my opinion, is redistribution. It drops down into the next accumulation. My last video, I was talking about this. I'll link up my last video if you want to check that out. So here it is. I've got these kind of on top of each other. Bitcoin, Wyckoff distribution, entire cycle, market cycle of Bitcoin up until this point. Wyckoff distribution, entire cycle, start to end. It ends over here with the spring up. Lots of people are saying that's where we're at now. I believe we're here. There's an epic fake out going because see the spring, how it drops down by support? That's actually right here. I believe it to be a fake out by the bears. I believe the bulls are about to get mauled by the bears, but I could be wrong. Going to have to wait for confirmation. Let me go back and forth here. Check that out. See what you're seeing there. So Bitcoin's been following this Wyckoff distribution. It's almost scary how perfect it is, right? See it? See it? See it? Maybe I'll move it here. See it? See it? So if it were to spring up from here, we would be missing the whole last phase of a Wyckoff distribution. So I'm not saying that's impossible. Maybe a lot of people are saying this is going to go up from here. They could turn out to be right. But the Wyckoff theory says you should treat this like a game. You're playing against a single entity. So say you're playing against a single entity, and this is your game board. And say this single entity has $10 trillion and wants to pump into Bitcoin over the next year or next 3 years. Does that entity want to buy Bitcoin up here, say at 40,000? Does that single opponent want to buy $10 trillion of Bitcoin at 40,000? Or does that opponent want to buy $10 trillion of Bitcoin at 16 to 20,000? If you had $10 trillion, would you rather buy at 20,000 or would you buy at 40,000? This is the question. I don't want to force my opinion on anyone else. I could be wrong. I want to be very clear about that. Here is a Wyckoff redistribution schematic. Here is a Wyckoff accumulation schematic. See the spring here? I believe this has showed up just recently on this Wyckoff redistribution. So you see on the redistribution is here. It does show going a touch below support, but it's kind of right on support. I believe this to be a fake out by the big boys, by the big boy bears. Let's zoom in here. Let me get my drawings in here. This is where we're at. I talk about this in depth in my last video down in the description. Check it out if you want. This redistribution pattern, some are calling accumulation. This is almost a carbon copy of this, this. Well, this too, but here's a more detailed. This was a tweet from 18 months ago. So this isn't someone trying to mess with your head, right? You got to watch out for that stuff in these money markets, FUD stories and stuff. This is from 18 months ago, this schematic. So it's not someone sending out a tweet right now to alter your thinking. This is matching up perfect with this. First peak's taller, second one's lower, third one's little taller than both. Go down here. This is where they're saying it's a spring. See how it wicks down below support there? I believe that to be here. And it's a major fake out to make it look like a spring. The problem with this accumulation, see how the first peak's lower, second peak's taller, the third peak is even with the second peak. Now, this doesn't have to be exact, but if you look at this, there's really no similarities with the exception of where it violated support here. It's really the only thing. It looks like it does look like a spring, doesn't it? See, it does. If you take it from here to the right, it looks like the spring, right? The problem is this doesn't come all the way down this one. They got two support levels here, but I've been saying this for a month, 3-4 weeks almost, that this is a redistribution, not accumulation. It's been in redistribution the entire time. Here, right? And we're about to have an epic dump. I believe this to be here. I believe this to be right here. Now this peak has come up a little too far than the bear's hearts would like to see. The bear's hearts go pitter pat, because you don't want this peak here coming above this peak. You don't want to see this guy that's actually outside the channel right now. I'm on the daily. You don't want to see this guy get taller than this guy. This actually petered out at 34,950. This peak here is 35,509. You do not want to see this go taller than that. I believe this to be a fake out breakout. If you look at it like on a 5-minute, lots of bulls might think this is a breakout and come back down for a retest. If you look at it on an hour, it kind of looks like a breakout and retest, right? 4 hour, well, it might be a breakout and a retest. 12 hour, maybe. Mind you, this Wyckoff distribution I've been charting is all on the daily chart. Here it is. Ever since the second week of November, second week of November, Bitcoin has never left this symmetrical triangle. Had one daily close here. It did show weakness at the very top with a couple of daily closes out below it. But other than that, it's never really violated this up and down channel. Here is a wick. This was heavily shorted right here. It was a huge bull trap. See how it wicks out of the channel? So for a while, this one looked just like this one is now, right? The daily candle was above it. It wicked back down. I am expecting this to turn into a wick. Keep in mind, this really isn't confirmed. When this confirms, if it confirms to the downside, it will be obvious. I'm expecting if it goes to the downside, it's been doing, I mean, it's been 8-9 months following this basically to the letter. It's obvious which way I'm leaning. If this breaks down, I'm expecting it to be rapid. The last wick from over here and back in January from this reaccumulation is 28,000. Actually, I think it's 27,900 here. So I'm expecting it to be rapid. Maybe looks something like this guy here. See this red candle? Or maybe it just kind of does one of these like it did from 41,000 not too long ago. 41,000 to 28,000. Maybe it looks like that. I'm expecting the breakdown to be rapid. And once you see it down here, we've pretty much got our confirmation, right? This chart is showing it to bounce back. I think this is probably going to be about 24,000. Don't hold me to these exact numbers. Bouncing up close to 30,000 and then down into our accumulation. This is probably going to last a month or so. Check out my last video if you want to see more detail about that. But I just want to put out this quick little update. The bear's hearts went pitter pat at 34,950. I believe this to be another epic bull trap. I believe this to be a fake spring done intentionally by your opponent that has $10 trillion that wants to stuff into this thing in the near future. Do they want to stuff it in at 40,000 and above, or do they want to stuff it in at 20,000 and below? This is the question. In my last video, I called out 34,700. It went up to 34,950. A little higher than I thought, a little higher than I would like. But this was basically almost an epic. I can't stand the word epic right here. Bull trap. I believe this to be the same thing. Now wait for confirmation. Wait for confirmation. Lots of people are down at small time frames, and it might look like it's already confirmation breakout upside. I highly suggest using the daily chart and see. We got 19 hours for this candle to close. I'm thinking Monday or Tuesday, this is going to play out. We will have our answer. I want everyone to be safe out there and use your head. So over here on the right, see these 3 green dots from 16 to 23,500. These are just examples. After I finish this video, I will come and I will delete these because this is just for example. This is non-leveraged buys at 16,000, 20,000, and 23,500. So like this one at 23.5 would be look over, see the green line to the left would be trying to maybe catch that bounce that goes back up to 30, but I don't want to mess with your head. My buy box is in here in between 16 and 20,000, non-leveraged buying. That way, if it dips down to 9,000, you don't get ruined. Non-leveraged. This is going to get real volatile. If this does play out like this, you should subscribe to my channel because for the next 4 or 5 weeks, if it does drop, it's basically going to play out almost like this, almost like if you took a photocopy of this, right? So down here, we can do some good things. But first, don't get overextended over your skis because this still could go up, right? Nothing is certain. You know my opinion. And I believe it to be an epic fake out by the big players. I believe this spring is intentional. I believe this was the bait, the bull bait, because up until this point, this didn't look right at all. See, nothing matches. While this one is basically like if you just took a photocopy of the Bitcoin chart, right? It's almost scary how exact it is. But, is that the real fake out? Maybe they're going to push the price up. Or did they throw in this little gimlet down here that looks like the spitting image of an accumulation pump, an accumulation spring, right? See that? See this one? This lower low here at 28,800. See that? It looks like a spring. I believe that to be bull bait, but wait for confirmation. Just be patient to see this confirm and go down here. Just be safe, be safe, be safe. And I've been expecting the death wick coming for some time. It could be a $10,000 daily candle, red. Just I'll keep you posted. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, thanks for watching.